Guess what? We got new cricket knives. Let's light it up. Here with the one and only Bryce Gerard. Bryce, thank you so much, man.
Always happy to be here.
And dude, there is some really unique stuff on here that really feels like it fills gaps in the knife world. So we're gonna get right into some of these new knives, and I got to start out with the classic right here. So the M16, you know it, you love it, you've seen it before, but this is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So still the same styling, but for the first time on this size knife, what have we got here?
We got ball bearings.
We got ball bearings.
Which is a great upgrade.
So if you hold it up to the light, you can see the balls.
You can actually see the IKBS in there, definitely. It's very obvious, and I think actually it really tells when you open it. I think that's what really kind of keyed me in.
It just,
the bearings.
It pops. It just pops out there. And of course, same lock, so that's a really nice safety lock that and this is a Carson design.
Yep.
And I gotta say, there's always been a soft spot in my heart for the M16 because it was the first kind of modern EDC knife that I actually owned.
Totally.
And as a teenager, the M16 was where it was at as far as I was concerned. Now, we've got this one in the spear point.
Yep.
And we've also got it in a Tonto with VEF serrations.
Correct.
Which that's also something that we haven't really seen, those VEF serrations on this size.
Exactly.
So that's a really cool aspect in and of itself, but a phenomenal action, great knife. What's the price point on that one? Somewhere around?
So around $60,
60.
somewhere in there.
That's fantastic. And D2 on the blade steel?
Yes, sir.
First knife out of the box, and you're already stealing my heart. That is fantastic. Really excited about that. Now, let's go from something that's really classic and that we know and love from CRKT to some really outrageous colors right here. So we've got these two here that are both Lucas Burnley designs.
Correct.
First up, let's look at this little guy.
Squid Compact in a robin's egg blue.
That is so fantastic. Ambi thumb studs.
Assisted.
It just, I mean, it freaking flies out there. It's a frame lock. It's got the flipper on the backside, but it's not like super pronounced. That is great. Now, this is going to come in other colors as well.
Yeah, we're going to have an orange model as well. We've had the smaller version of the Squid out for a little bit, but this is the first splash of color it's seen, which is fun. But that's a great size of knife. Disappears in your pocket. It can handle most cutting tasks that at least I face in my office-based lifestyle. But really fun little knife and a great evolution of the Squid in general.
And again, with D2?
Yeah.
And what's the price point on this? It's
That'll still be in the same price range, around
60,
50, 60 bucks, there.
That's fantastic. And then on with the Robin's Egg Blue.
This is the Ibis. So this is a net new model from Lucas. Lucas has always looked to nature kind of for influence, and the Ibis is a bird with a very specific looking beak.
Yep.
It kind of lends itself. It makes sense. And that's it. After we went and looked at the images of the bird, it really made sense on why it lends itself to a knife and why this one has the design characteristics it does. But really cool, smooth flipper, fun blade shape with that little bit of a kind of a recurve there towards the front. It's going to be a really good cutter. Yeah, really slim in the pocket, fun to open, fun color, Burnley design.
Super smooth on that one, and it pops really nice right there. I absolutely dig that. Again with D2 on the blade steel, I'm assuming?
I believe so, yes.
That's fantastic. So, and that's another thing that we want to say. So
that's actually 14C28N.
14C28N.
Excuse me.
Even better. So for that type of knife, I think that's fantastic. And even with it having that kind of, I guess, slight recurve there, it's not going to be difficult to sharpen like a lot of recurve type blades are.
Yeah,
so
not at all.
I love that. Really dig that.
Yeah, really fun.
Now we've got some more really interesting small knives. In particular, the Orca here.
Orca.
Look at this little guy.
What's interesting about the Orca is kind of where it came from. It's a Jim Hammond design, and Jim Hammond's really been well known for us designing fighting knives. People remember like the FE7 back in the day, or the Flesh Eater. That's what it's called for.
Yes.
Might have been all-time names in the knife world, but essentially Jim took his design for the handle for that and squished it down to create the Orca. So I love that the juxtaposition from the Flesh Eater to the fun little Orca, but it's a
Right?
similar blade design, and it really works even in that smaller shape.
It does. So it is assisted, and I like the little horn that it has when it's
Yeah.
closed. It's got kind of an eye there, and just pops right out. And oddly enough, like the way that this fits, especially with that back there,
Yeah.
the way that it falls into the palm there, it's super comfortable. You've got a lot of control and a lot of really good purchase on that knife. That is really, really cool. And we're talking D2 on the blade steel for this one.
D2.
Coming around about $80,
60 to
60 to
70,
80.
probably somewhere in there.
Nice.
Great fun. Fun little blade. I kind of like the world of knives. You can have fun,
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
all our cutting tasks are.
It doesn't have to be
that.
tactical.
No,
It
doesn't
doesn't.
have to
It can be fun and soft.
Totally. I think it's kind of cool. It's fun to see where the knife world goes. It's changed quite a bit.
Absolutely. I mean, that's super unique and just a lot of fun.
Yeah, man. I'm really excited.
So
Meet them, Jim.
I don't want to get into that one just yet
Sure.
because that one's kind of special. I do want to talk about this one for
Sure.
a minute. So you guys have been doing a lot of stuff with Daryl Caston.
Correct.
And this is another one from him that is a really cool little slip joint knife, 2-blade. Coming in with, what kind of material is that on the handle?
I believe it's like a micarta.
Yeah.
It's the red in there. Yeah, 12C27 on the blades. It's kind of funny too when you look at Daryl's work. Like a lot of his stuff looks like a Cybertruck, or he's
Yeah.
really out there. The Mambombo, which we came out with, great example of that. And then we go to something a little bit more traditional.
Yeah.
I think he did a great job, and he's just a prolific designer. We get phone calls from him weekly with new ideas, and it's really cool when you run across a mind like that that's just producing new ideas and has the ability to also kind of create on his own.
Yeah. And one thing that's really cool too is, and something interesting to note, and I'm guessing it'll be on the final production models, is the fact that these are all chisel ground. So you've got one complete flat side, and then you've got a full flat grind on the other side with the bevel, and that's a really cool concept that we don't really see on a lot of knives outside of you guys with the Razel and all that. So
Yeah.
really cool design and a nice modern take on a traditional type folder.
You've seen that a lot, like people like that knife that Grandpa used to carry, but
Yep.
they want it with a modern touch, a pocket clip, a splash of color, the modern steels, that sort of thing. And
Absolutely.
it's cool to see. It's a fun area of knives.
Now let's talk about. We've been talking about folders for a bit now. Let's talk about some fixies here.
Yeah.
And some that have been around for a while and maybe weren't going to come back, but now they are, and we're really excited to see these. The Bear Claw.
The Bear Claw. So Bear Claw's been with us for a while. It's probably one of the best knives for rafting or any sort of rescue need. If you're doing anything in rigging, you need to have a Bear Claw or some sort of safety device with you. And the Bear Claw offers a lot of advantages. As TC is demonstrating here, you can get your finger through the hole, which is a great thing when you're panicked, you're under stress, and you got to kind of react. And now you won't see your knife kind of fluttering away from you.
Exactly.
As it falls away. Same thing in the water. Your hands are cold. You've been, we're here on the Akoi. Your hands are cold.
Right.
You get out, but you need to, get yourself out of a situation. You want something that is going to stay in your hand and not go anywhere. And the Bear Claw does that excellently.
Yeah, and you've got it in a couple of different colors. Of course, the safety orange, and then we've got the all black version.
Correct.
It's got a nice blunt tip, so you don't have to worry about puncturing anything. It's going to be a little bit safer to use around human beings.
And rafts.
And rafts, yes.
And the other big thing was the VEF serrations.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to see this one with VEF serrations. Previously, it had triple points, which do a good job, more of a saw kind of action, but I think that the VEF serrations really have a home here that makes sense.
Yeah.
They just fly through rope. They really protect that edge well and keep it really sharp, or keep it protected kind of. And these are kind of meant for occasional use, obviously, but I think that that's a much better cutting tool for, say, a rope situation.
Yeah.
It'll naturally grab and kind of attack that.
And then the self-defense version.
Exactly. So all those features that we say are good for when you're rafting or hanging a couple 100 feet in the air,
Right.
really lend themselves well to a self-defense knife. This is going to be in your hand. It will not be taken away from you very easily. It's so ergonomic and natural. It's easy to use. If you've got it on your hip, you can create distance, pull it out,
Yeah.
and go to town. It's just a really good design, so ergonomic, and lends itself both to the safety situation with the rigging and in a self-defense model.
Absolutely. And I kind of like that hawkbill blade because you can actually use this to open boxes really easily
Sure.
too. Like you can just hold it like that, and it's super secure and just really nice to just zip right through the top of an Amazon package.
Yeah.
I dig that. There's so many uses for something like that.
I said, yeah, we sell these bear claws to everybody. It's really impressive. It's kind of fun to see like where they end up, and we work with a lot of kind of extreme sport athletes, pack rafters, and got a lot of feedback and add a little bit of grip. And I think the Vesturations are a really good addition to the
Absolutely.
classic bear claw.
I dig those. Now, what's the price point on those? What do those look
Those
like?
ones will be selling for around $60.
Nice.
Yeah.
Everything's staying like pretty close to the same and really good quality materials. I'm digging this. So this is another one right here. And this is another Daryl Caston
Correct.
design.
Yeah.
Just like that other one that we talked about just a few minutes ago. Now, what's this one called?
This one's the Ancestor.
So you can definitely see the samurai kind of influence on this one, especially with that Tonto blade. But it's kind of upswept at the same time, and then that long sweeping handle right there. You can definitely see the influence on this, and that Tonto is so pronounced that it's almost like very similar to the Razel.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a chisel on the end of the knife there.
Totally. You got all these beautiful flowing curves straight to that kind of like harsh. So it's more of an American Tonto, I think, edge. With the big sweeping edge, it's got that. It's a straight edge, so it's not rounded out.
Right.
But I think it's cool when you have that kind of change from the flowing overall design, and it really just shows kind of the range that Daryl has. It's amazing.
Yeah.
You know, you go from the Minimal X, Mambumbo, to something more like the Forebear, this Ancestor. Amazing range. You know.
Yeah.
Knife designers are all over the place. Some people like to focus and do the same kind of model and work on that. And man, he's just prolific. It's really fun to see.
It's fantastic. Now, what's this one coming in around?
That one's going to sell for probably around $80. Nice. You're going to have D2 steel and that micarta handle.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
That is awesome. I'm really digging that. And kind of keeping in that same vein there is this one here.
So we're going to switch designers, go to Richard Rogers.
Yep.
Similar design, though, you're right. And this one's called The Persian by Richard Rogers. Richard actually says this is one of his favorite knives that he works, what he uses on his ranch, which I think is a strong compliment coming from such royalty as Richard Rogers.
Oh, absolutely.
D2 steel on there, really lightweight with the handle. It's assisted opening, and I find the rhythm of like having the lightweight handle and that heavier blade just makes it a fun, snappy opener.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's big enough like you can get all four fingers on there.
Yeah.
And like you said, with him working his ranch, you know, a lot of times when I'm working on my farm, I've got gloves on. That's something that's going to increase the hand size and make a knife feel a lot smaller in the hand. But this one, you've got plenty of purchase on there, even with gloved hands. And so you've got a decent, like, really nice sized blade there, but it's not uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So it's not huge. And then, like you said, the assisted opening there is going to make it just pop out there. It just...
The auditory side of knives.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Yes.
That's a fun change, too, from the CEO, the thin knife that's supposed to look good in a suit pocket, and to go something that's a little bit more ranch ready is another cool
I dig that. I dig that. And again, we're talking somewhere around $60.
Yeah, probably around there.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that was a fun knife.
Now, this next series right here is from the same designer.
No, this is actually a little bit of a divergence. This is a new designer for us.
Well, I mean, from the same design, like each one of these, they're
excuse me,
both
sorry.
from the same.
I misunderstood.
These two are both from the same designer. And so, how do you pronounce that?
This is the Padawan by Pedro Buzetti, and he's been working under Flavio Icoma for the last 5-6 years.
So we've got one model here with black G10 inlay, and it's got kind of that hidden frame lock kind of feel to it. So it's not a liner lock. It is a frame lock, but it's got the cover, the G10 cover over that, and it kind of, I don't know, it just kind of classes it up a little bit.
Totally. You really can see, I mean, Flavio is obviously an icon in the knife world, and they kind of call him the Jedi, hence the Padawan name.
Right.
It makes sense. And for the first kind of commercial take of one of Pedro's knives, it turned out beautifully. I think all the features too really tell a high-end knife maker story. I mean, the polished top on the blade has been mirror polished.
See it
It's really
there.
well chamfered. You don't have any hard edges. Like you mentioned, sort of the hidden frame lock under the G10 inlay. Those little touches are such a cool knife designer touch. Multiple open options with the flick,
Yeah.
thumb, or the flipper. Really smart, and Pedro's been working really hard. I know Flavio did not give him an easy route to learn all of his secrets, but really cool. It's got the ball bearings on there, which are a Flavio invention. So it's just a really cool mashup to see the new generation kind of coming up with these legends in the knife world and putting out great work for first time. I'm really impressed with what Pedro did here.
And I love the two different options. So this one's got the micarta inlay and gives a whole different feel. And it gives a whole different vibe coming off of that one.
Different blade shapes. The blade shapes even lend themselves to kind of. It sort of makes more sense with the bigger belly on the.
Yeah.
It kind of looks more like a working knife. The other one looks a little sleeker and pointier and faster.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
Again, it's just those little knife touches that these high-end knife designers have been focusing on for years, and sometimes get lost on us. But it's
Really
beautiful.
nicely done. Love that. Now, finally, and this is, I think, what everybody's excited about here. So we've got some collaborations with Hogue.
Yep.
And these are really cool. So we've got some autos.
Yes, the year of auto. Long time coming.
Wow. Wow. So what's this one called?
This is the Michigan. So it's a cross between Michigan and Ithaca, where Philip Booth, the designer, lives. He's been designing automatics for a number of years, so it was only natural that we would partner with him to kind of come out with these two models. And really cool. We got two different sizes. The larger size that we're showing off here in the Michigan, it's got a hidden scale release.
So you push, you separate the scales basically up on the back one, push down on the front one here.
Oh.
You can see that also disengages the lock on the back side there. So really interesting design and something that's very different there. And really nice still with the JG10. That is something for me that I don't think I will ever not like, because it just looks really good.
It's like when they don't add color to G10. It's like it's better. I totally agree. It's like the knife world has always treated it with such like regard, and it looks awesome. That's part of the reason.
Yeah, absolutely. But we've also got the reverse in this one here.
Yeah.
So you've got kind of a JG10 in the fill in there.
Yeah, it kind of separates. It sort of gives it a bolster.
But yeah.
Philip uses a lot of bolsters in this Merc,
So really, really cool design. Now, what's the price point going to be for this? This fun for your pocket.
Yes, that model will be selling for $299
$299.
with Magna Cut steel,
Magna Cut on the blade steel.
Hogue backup. Really cool design there. It's that really fun opening mechanism, and you're doing it in the way that's very precise and a good way to
Right.
show. And generally, you'd actually open it kind of with like sort of like the meat of your palm.
Yeah, exactly.
If we can kind of capture that, but
You would hold it like this.
yeah, it's
And
very
then just-
natural.
Just push it like that. It's
Yeah.
super simple. But yeah, I mean, and that's one thing that kind of. It's also a very fun knife in that regard too. One of my favorite knives is one of those tricky open old Protex that Blackie Collins designed, and this kind of goes along with that. You hand it to somebody, and it can be like your barbette knife, is what I call it, and be like, "Can you open it and close it? If so, then I buy you a beer. But if not, you buy me one." I like that.
And we've had other ones like the fulcrum or the
Yeah.
snap. I always call those like CRKT brain teasers, but they were
like
fun
it.
to just like pop out there and be like, open
The
them,
dactyl.
do it.
Yes. Yeah, see if you can figure that out.
Do it.
But that is a beautiful design and still at a really good price point with premium quality materials, and you're getting also the manufacturing of Hogue.
Yeah,
So
a great partnership.
really, really nice design. This one right here, I got to say, looks a little bit more CRKT. So kind of the, I guess, what you guys have been doing of the last couple of years and going a little more high end. And this is kind of that same feel like you get from the Redemption and those in that kind of, in that sort of lineup. So this is the Minnow. And tell us about what this one is.
Minnow, again, a Philip Booth design, really classic. You can go look up his custom and compare it to ours, and they are really hard to tell apart, which is what we try to do. That's our goal every time. I love seeing that when we can make them indistinguishable. But smaller automatic, it's going to be with the button open there. Good, solid little firecracker open, kind of snaps for you. Blade is sub 2 inches, so a lot of people would be happy to hear that.
Right.
Not only it fits in your pocket well, but it'll match legalities across the nation in some places. But really cool, really good example of what Philip Booth's work does. You know, kind of more of an example here of like the bolster work with the micarta back, and really kind of touches on some of his other designs, like the rip snort was another good example.
Yeah.
It really, especially looks like the Mishikas with the sort of designs that they have on there. So same thing here, Magna Cut on the blade, steel. So you're gonna get all around great performance. Just a snappy, fun opening package.
And coming in just under $200, is
Yeah,
that right?
we'll sell about $199.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really excited. We haven't done automatics a whole bunch. Really needed that partnership, I think, to make it happen. And we're really excited to be working with Hogue, as always. They do great work, and this is a great example of that.
And this one feels so, I mean, for its small size, it feels substantial. It feels, it's got a heft to it, but it's not heavy.
Yeah.
And so the quality, it just feels like quality. And that's what I dig.
There's always a balance with little knives. You don't want them too small, you don't feel them. It makes me insecure.
Right.
If I can't feel my knife, it's insecure. But if
I feel like I've lost
big,
it.
it's too big. But there's a Goldilocks solution to everything.
Yeah, I dig that a lot. So, folks, what we want you to do is let us know in the comments down below what your favorite new CRKT is that you saw on the show today and which one you're going to be looking to pick up. So, money's not an option, Bryce. Which one are you picking? Which one is your favorite new one?
I'm a huge fan of the Bear Claws, obviously, but if it's gonna be everyday carry, I'm gonna go with the Mishika because I think that's a cool knife. I love the opening, all the performance is there. Padawan would be a close second, but I really like the new autos. It's been fun.
Yeah,
You?
I'm going to go the same. I got to do the same thing. It's either going to be the Mishika or the M16.
Yeah.
So it's either going to be brand new or old school for me. That's just the way it is. So, folks, like I said, let us know what your favorite was and which one you're looking forward to picking up. As always, it's been me, TC, here with Smoky Mountain Knife Works, smkw.com, along with Bryce. Cricket! And remember, if it cuts like a CRKT with that dope rep, then we carry.